Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Culture Capture Spotlight podcast. I'm Joe, and I'm on the phone today with Ronnie Rage. Tell everybody what's up, bro.
Yo, how you feeling, man?
Yo, bro, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today and sit down and talk about what you've been doing and how you've been moving lately.
Man, it's no problem, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's been dope because when I first met you, when I first meet you, let's talk about that first. Like when I first met you back in October.
Yeah, we
right?
was doing the Burbs podcast.
Yeah, you were doing an open crib for Burbs at the crib, and you were chilling, and I got to know you and shit, and learned about your music and stuff, and I was blown away because I'm like, damn, you've put the years in, and you've been putting the time in to kind of get to the point you're at now. Would you say that's kind of fair?
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. And honestly, I feel like even still, I'm just starting out. Even though I've been doing it, it's been 6 years now since I started recording, and then I changed my name to Ronnie Rage. 5 years or nah? That was 6 years. That was 2015.
Wow. Yeah. Because you've been mixing, producing, engineering. You've been doing all aspects of it too for forever. And I think that's just it's so raw to see a lot of artists coming up now. I feel like they do all things. It's not just a one dimensional I've sing or I'm melodic. And I think you do a great job of really being talented in all different levels of it. Can you kind of talk about what goes through your head kind of when you're in the studio space and when you're working and kind of describe your creativity process a little bit?
Yeah. First, I do want to say I think it's important that people, do have multiple skill sets because, if you just do the same thing over and over again, it's kind of hard to, I guess, push the boundary or stand out, because like you said, there's so many people now that they do produce, they do rap and sing and do all this other stuff. And it's if you're just listening to other people all the time and just doing the same stuff over and over again, you won't really, stand out amongst people because there's some talent out there, for real. But mainly, my process, I just go into everything as a brand new project. I don't look at anything as in, oh, I'm Ronnie Rage, I have songs that sound like this, so I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Literally every time I go in there, it's a whole different thing. New type of beat, new type of lyrics, new flows. I don't think I've ever done the same flow twice, honestly.
How much music would you say you make? I'm not gonna do you per day because shit happens every day, But how much music would you say you probably be making a week?
In a week, I'll say a week. I'll try to make 3 beats a day, quality beats, a finished beat versus just starting some shit. I try to make 3 beats a day, and then every few days or so, I'll go through those beats, and I'm like, all right, I'll record to 1 or 2 beats. So probably 15, 20 beats a week, and try to record at least once or twice out of those beats, or have other people send me beats, and then I just go off that.
Yeah, that's hard. Talk about I know you're kind of engineering a lot lately too, and you've been kind of operating out of your own studio. Can you kind of go into detail and share obviously what you can about where what you've been on lately in terms of a studio setup?
Oh yeah, the studio honestly is probably the greatest thing to happen to me as career wise, just being in that environment, because down the hall, we got Jay Craig and CB. The dude who owns the building is Ray Nima. He's a profound engineer. If you look him up, look up his discography and stuff that he's worked on, he's a legend in the music world, since the 80s, 90s. And personally, my mentor, Jimmy, he's the one that brought me into the studio in our little space there. He's been mixing, mastering my music, projects and stuff like that, since I was 17, 18 years old. And he basically taught me everything I know about engineering, mix mastering, how to record, mic techniques. He taught me all of that stuff. So for him to bring me there was just a blessing, because now I get to be with these people every day, and I get to ask questions and see the type of projects they're working on. And I'm more of a student. I started that student stage again. I'm just asking a million questions to everybody, kind of annoy the fuck out of everyone, but I like to know shit, and being there is perfect because everybody in there is really good at what they do.
Yeah, I feel just knowing stuff in general, no matter what you do, you know what I mean? It's you got to know all aspects of what you're entering, what you're walking into. With what I do, it's I didn't just start a podcast in my first week. You know what I mean? Like I had to learn things about the music business first before I could just like step out and be recorded every week. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's the same thing for artists, and like it's a credit to you for real, because like since I've known you, like I feel like that's kind of always been the mentality for you, is like, yeah, I'm kind of like bubbling, and like I can make some big plays if I wanted to, maybe get some cool features, but like, you know, I'm keeping my head locked in, like I'm staying local, like I'm building that fan base up, and like I mean, talk about your fans too. Like, talk about having like a committed fan base, at where you're at with your career, and like what that's kind of meant in terms of like a motivation, a like let's keep learning, and like trying to make my quality just like all the way there for being like the independent artist without like the major label backing.
Yeah, the fans definitely. For me specifically, I can't speak on like just a generalization, but for me specifically, I think my supporters are like the best because they give me time to like work on it, like you said, the quality of it and everything like that. Since I've been at the studio, I don't think I've dropped a song since I moved in there. It was like 2-3 months ago, because I dropped Middle of the Night in January, and they blew that shit up. People were posting about it every day, still posting about it, still sharing it, still DMing me, and I'm just glad that I can give them quality music that can hold them over until I'm like ready to deliver something else, because I'm not one of those people that like, oh, I need to be posting every 2 seconds and dropping a song every other day, like I really take my time with it, and I think they appreciate that, because I could just be one of these dudes that just drop, some bullshit every week just to say I drop a song every week, and they make it so much easier for me, because that pressure is just alleviated. So when I do drop, they just go crazy, and I think that's what happens every time is like quality control. It's not like, oh, hey, I'm gonna just flood the streets with music and one song might pop off and stuff. Like I go into it strategically for them so they can have the best experience. Like if I got a good song, I'll wait to shoot the video. If it's a project song, I'll wait till the project is finished before I even drop that song. You know what I mean? I like to take my time with it, and really, since I've been in the studio, like I've been listening to all of this shit that I was ready to release, and I'm like, damn, like I thought this shit was fire 3 months ago, and I'm listening to it now, and I'm like, yeah, we could have did better on that. So it's like I'm just really hard on myself, and they make it so much easier to just be me, I guess.
Yeah, bro.
They fuck with all the different waves and shit that I do too. Like it doesn't matter what genre of music I drop, like they fuck with it. It's weird.
Yeah, no, because your fans are really there. I mean, it's not like that's not cap when I say that. Like you really do have like a fan base for an underground artist, and it's impressive. That's really hard to like achieve and get to that point. And I think when you're saying like the hard work thing and just kind of like keeping your head down, like can you go into more detail for those who may be listening who like, how would you tap into somebody who like, may need to hear that message? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say, so it's two aspects of it. I would say if you're wanting to be an artist, or you want to make music, or you're thinking about doing any art in general, think about how you want to come across. Think about your delivery, your aesthetic, the presentation. It all plays a part into it. The brand is one. First of all, when you make music, I always look at it as like, music is a product of your brand. You know what I'm saying? Your art, your music, your music is not the brand. Your music is a product of the brand. So if you have the brand and you can attract followers and influence people on a day-to-day basis, you know what I'm saying? Like I could post a fucking coffee drink or something right now and have 10 people like, yo, I'm gonna go try that. Like that's influence. It's not necessarily fandom. But I would just tell people, work on your shit first. Make sure you have 5-10 good quality songs before you drop one. You know what I'm saying? Before you drop one song, you should have the next 5 songs like ready to go. Even though if you're not ready to drop them, like they should be prepared to go. You know what I mean? I just think people can do themselves a big favor by taking things a little bit slower and playing the long game, realizing like, okay, I have this really fire song, and then I have like 4 songs that are kind of good but not as fire. You can drop those and lead up to that single. Build the momentum up and let it develop naturally versus just trying to, shoot in the dark and hope you hit a target.
Yeah, bro. You were talked about earlier, Middle of the Night. That's still one of my favorite projects that's came out this year, in 2021. It was a really dope, honestly, like a listening experience, and just like the overall like flow from song to song was incredible, and the music video was very well done. Can you just kind of talk about like how that rollout went for you, and like you know, what you've seen from it. I think Lyrical shouted out the project as well, and like talk about what like it was like getting that Lyrical nod as well. So like two separate questions for you.
Yeah, that Middle of the Night was a trip, man, because it's funny because I had a whole other project. I don't know if you've ever heard like Tink on E or Four Rings. Those songs, I had a project developed around that. And then we were like starting to get a little mini tour put together. My manager, Jose, was like going crazy, getting me shows booked in Florida and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit. And basically I just used the project that I had already before Middle of the Night, and I dropped them as singles. And then the COVID like kind of just inspired me to like dig a little bit deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's really how Middle of the Night came about. Same thing, you know, I just made some beats, a freestyle and everything, you know, just going off the top of the head, saying what I really feel, put it together. And honestly, it took us so long to actually get it out because like I said, I'm so particular about it. It was supposed to come out summer of 2020 last year. What year is it? 2021, right?
2021, yeah.
It was supposed to come out at the end of the summer last year, or like fall time. And we took our time with it, and I'm glad we did it because we wanted to get the visuals right. We wanted to get, you know, photo shoot for the cover art and make sure everything was mixed and mastered perfectly. And honestly, everybody did a great job. Videographer did a great job. Photographer, engineer, my manager. And then it came out. I dropped it on my birthday. And it was actually wild because we have some relationships with some writers, specifically this kid, Danny Adam at Lyrical Lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
He's been tapped in, you know, like he asked me like, yo, you got some unreleased stuff, you know, what's the word on this and that. So it was kind of like he was waiting, you know, for something quality to write about because I hadn't dropped a project since I met him or encountered him. So that was like all organic, you know. He genuinely wrote what he felt, and honestly, that is one of the best write-ups I've ever had written about me or anyone in general. Just the descriptions that he was putting in. You know, that happened, and then it was just like a snowball effect. You know, we got some press out in Paris somehow because they saw it on Lyrical Lemonade. I just had a bunch of random just encounters like based off that project, and it's still pushing. And honestly, I think we still got a visual or two to still drop from that. I'm not saying milking it, but like we're gonna kind of drag it out, and you know, it's a timeless piece of work. I think I'll listen to that in 5 years and still be impressed.
Yeah, bro, and I must say, like, as a listener, it was incredible when it dropped. I mean, like, I was really hyped for it. I remember I was back in Boston at my house, and it just, yeah, like, blown away, bro. I mean, you know, 5 songs, 14-minute runtime, and just, like, was very, very happy with it, and was like, yo, this kid is for real, kind of up to something, you know, different in this city. Kind of talk about how you network around Chicago and, like, how you be moving through the city.
Yeah, Chicago. I will say Chicago is a tough place to really, you know, dive into because personally I'm from the suburbs, like suburb Chicago, like 30 minutes out west. Mm-hmm. So I mean that creates like a boundary in itself because you know the city kids don't really want to rock with the burb kids and stuff like that. But I think my work kind of just speaks for itself. And I don't really like thirst people, like hit them in the DM like yo, you know, like I kind of just. I'll follow people even if they don't follow me back. I'll still follow them, favorite their stuff, retweet their stuff, and it's all genuine connections. You know, I reach out to people because I genuinely enjoy what they do, whether we work together or not. You know, I just take care of people. You know, I'm always there for people, whether it's personal, business related, music related. You know, I'll go out to shows, pop ups, and come support people, and you know, stuff like that. Just real organic, slow networking. I don't like to do shit just because, this person knows this person, so I need to get in contact with them. You know, I kind of, like how I came across you, you know, it was all natural. And ever since then, like, we've just been, you know, cool. It was never like, you know, some industry weird shit. And yeah. Chicago's not the place for that, you know, because people out here really don't fuck with that, you know, what's the word for it? Pretentious people.
Yeah, it's really not, like, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not from here, you know what I mean? But, like, you can notice it right away when you after a while. It's just like Chicago is very cliquey. You know what I'm saying? No matter who it is, and it's like it is very challenging in a lot of ways to kind of feel like you're making like authentic relationships in the business field because it's like you just really don't know what people be saying behind your back or how they truly feel. But I feel like, you know, you've done a hell of a job being able to like hit the top of the top in a lot of ways, and also like do it in other parts of the country, like because I know you'd be spending a lot of time out in LA as well. And I wanted to ask you, like, if you have any plans on going out there this summer, like when you're going to be out there, so we can link. But like, you know, if you're going to be out there, like, what do you plan on doing out there, like all that?
Yeah, I love LA, especially on the industry tip. I mean, it's weird out there too. You know, like Chicago is weird in its own way. I mean, just out of Chicago being Chicago, people just naturally feel like they need to protect themselves. But LA is weird too. But I love it because there's so many more people, and like they're open minded, they're creative, they're different. There's no specific like LA. I mean, there is a Cali sound, but like a lot of people from in LA are not even from LA, so you get like this mixture of like creativity and inspiration, and it's just like walking around out there. You know, you'll just see something on the street, and it's like, damn, I gotta hit a studio and like write about this shit. You know, and the studios out there, everybody's pretty cool. There's one studio that I fuck with out there called Hush Money. They're going crazy. You know, shout out Kevin, shout out Chris. They go crazy, you know, and every time I go to LA, I lock in with them. And Green Tea Studios, shout out Yoni and Ursa. They're just all good guys, you know, and they really are passionate about what they do. So when I go out there, I lock in with them. Everybody makes beats, everybody songwrites, everybody, you know, records their own music. So it's like you can just get all of these heads together and, you know, crazy things happen. But yeah, I love going to LA. I might be out there sometime in this next few months. I'm not sure yet, you know, with the COVID shit. I don't know. It's not enjoyable just going anywhere because you can't really do anything. But
are you getting vaccinated? Are you think you're gonna go through with that?
Honestly, I'm gonna be that guy. No, I don't think I am, bro. Personally, I don't really think. I don't know. It's just weird to me, like how fast that shit rolled out. So I'm kind of skeptical. Maybe in a few months or something, if shit's still an issue and there's some more research on the stuff. But I'm not one of those like medicine people. I'm like really holistic in like how I treat my body. Like,
no, I feel you, bro.
Yeah, like if I get sick, you know, I'll drink some tea, some orange juice, and some stuff like that. The last thing I'll ever want to do is go to a doctor, you know?
No, I feel you, bro. Like personally, I got the vaccine just because it was like someone was able to just do it for me. I didn't have to lift a finger, and it was just like I knew I was gonna need it because I'm gonna be traveling a bunch in like May and shit. And I was just like, whatever, man. Like I smoke weed, you know. Like what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? I really just rolled the dice with it. But I get it for a lot of other people where it's like, you know, it's your decision. You know what I mean? It's your body. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. Like, well, people. Like, there's one thing where it's like, oh, like, I feel like there's some sides of it that are like, oh, yeah, they're way too strong with it. But, like, you know, for a lot of other people where they're just like, hey, I just want to feel it out and, like, really see what's going on with it first. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing all these other stories of people, like, getting sick or, like, having horrible health effects. You know what I mean? I totally get it for people where they're just like, hey, I want to, like, really feel out all my options first and stuff. I totally get it. I think it's going to be wild, though, almost like, to see how certain shows and venues or whatever are moving, though. Like, how do you feel like the industry as a whole, like all levels of it, you know what I mean, are going to be kind of handling like post-pandemic, you know, business and like, do you feel like there will be changes and stuff or no?
To be honest, I feel like when things first open up, and I mean, this is not even just the industry in general, just business is how I've like seen things operate. So boom, you have a state of emergency, or you have some crazy, you know, proclamation by a president or whoever else, and they're like, do this, do that. That shit lasts for like a week, 2 weeks before things, you know, really start going back to normal. Like, you know, they're having festivals out in Florida right now, and Florida was like one of the worst states of COVID. I think economically, we can't afford to just be, you know, shut down forever, you know? So I think I don't know when this shit's gonna end or how it's gonna end. I don't see it coming to an abrupt end. Like, hey, COVID's over. Like, go back out. You know, like it's gonna be phases. And I think some people will adhere to the regulations. I think some people will say fuck it and just do what they want. Whether that's responsible or not, that's not for me to judge. But I don't see the industry really putting a pause on it stuff for too much longer. You know, because these venues they need this stuff to happen to stay open, keep their bills paid. So I don't know how it's going to work, but I personally don't think it's going to be too strict. Because, I mean, look at music in general. The whole idea of the music industry is like, hey, fuck the rules, fuck this, fuck that. I do what I want, you know, so.
And, dude, so many venues closed in Chicago during the pandemic. And, I mean, I'm sure that's a big issue in, like, other cities as well. But, I mean, just seeing it in Chicago, like, all the fucking venues that had to shut their doors. some pretty crazy venues had to close because it's like they couldn't pay the rent. They weren't getting shows for a year straight. So
right, and it's sad to see, because Chicago, we already have like a weird art scene in general. Like, there's not too many outlets to begin with, so I think this is just it's putting an impact on the whole city. Economically, culturally. Like, I think it is what it is, but personally, we'll just have to see. I'm kind of upset because I'm like, damn, I had a whole mini tour booked up. Who knows what I would have been able to do with that, or what music I would have made inspired by that. Like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But at this point, I'm just waiting for stuff to develop. But at the same time, I am enjoying the pace of things because it allows me. I'm already a slow mover when it comes to releases and doing this and that. So this is great for me because I have an excuse to take my time and do what I have to do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, hey, you haven't toured yet, right?
Not officially, no.
Are you thinking about doing your first official tour this summer? Like, obviously, pandemic permitting, or what?
Honestly, me and my manager, we haven't even like, a big thing we've been focusing on is like sync placement. So like, touring is like, it's definitely a priority. It's just like, when we look at all the obstacles and logistics of everything, it's just like, all right, if this is what we want to do, there's going to be this hoop to jump through, and I'm not going to say it's not important or we shouldn't be prioritizing that right now. I just think right now it's just going to be so limited on the experience. And I'm like, my name is literally Ronnie Rage, bro. Like, when I'm on stage, I need motherfuckers to be throwing themselves against each other. I need people close knit, so I honestly think it would impact my performance if it was like a super, limited, performance. I don't know. I don't see how good that would be. But at the same time, you don't know. Some states might open up, and if those states are my states where I have audience and stuff like that, I'll pop out for a show. But as an official tour, I don't see us doing that this summer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, if you do have the chance to go back into doing shows, though, like one-off shows and stuff, I mean, are you excited for that at least? You know what I mean? To be able to kind of get back into performing in person again?
Oh, yeah, man. I love performing, man. That's my favorite thing about this whole, music thing. I like recording and making music, but like, performing it is the reason why I make the music, because the live performance is just it's an experience that people never forget. You walk away with that memory for the rest of your life. Or not if you went too hard, but it's like, it's important, to the brand, and that's like a big part of who I am, is performing on stage.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't think I've seen you perform yet in person. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have. I need to. Maybe we should set something up like in Chicago this summer. Like, I really want to do like a show. Like, I know Eric with CC, like, we've been talking about trying to do a show. It'd be super hard to, like, get a bunch of the guys together that are just going crazy, and gals too, of course, in Chicago, and just like throw something on. Like, that'd be raw as fuck.
Yeah, I'd be down for something like that, because I don't have to leave the state. I could just come and, do what I need to do.
Right. Like, it's just something where it's just like, all right, who's in Chicago like this weekend? If you're here, come through to perform type thing. Just something slight for, like, the community.
Yeah.
But it'd be raw. I mean, we can't not talk about your new dog. I forgot your dog's name. I'm sorry. What's your dog's name?
His name is Rocco. He's a 6-month-old cane corso.
Bro, how's it been being a dog owner, being a doggy dad, bro?
Man, honestly, I must say, dude, like, it's like having a real kid. Like, my dog is so clingy and needy of attention. And, it's funny because, like, this dog breed is, like, supposed to be, like, super vicious. But, like, this dog is honestly the sweetest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's weird because I'm not an animal person. You can ask anybody. Like, I was not a fan of people letting dogs when I go to their house, like, put your dog away from me, like. But this dog, I don't know what it is about him. I think it's just because I saw how small and tiny he was, and like, this nigga's growing like rapidly. I got him in January. You remember when I posted the picture? He was like 6-7 pounds. Now the dude's like 50-60 pounds, and they're like, he's only a quarter through his growing rate. I'm like, Jesus.
Nah, bro, I haven't met him yet. I need to meet your dog. I remember, like, when you put him up on Instagram, I hit you. I'm like, bro, I'm jealous as hell, because, like, I really want to get a dog, like, out here. Like, I got my dog back home with my family, but, like, I want one out in Chicago as well. And, like, I was just like, damn, he's cute as hell. All of it, you know what I mean? just loving it for you. Like, can you bring your dog out and shit? Like, do you bring your dog to like, the stew once in a blue moon or nah? Is it just like not? It's not like that.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, he's good around people, but like in an enclosed space for an extended period of time, I don't think he would be too. I mean, honestly, he would just probably sleep, But when he's not sleeping, he likes to run around and jump on stuff and do this and that. I don't think he's like a studio dog yet. Maybe when he gets a little bit older, but I could definitely like bring him out. He is weird around dogs though. He's like more cool with people than he is with animals.
I mean, it makes sense because if you're saying he's like an aggressive breed, it's like, I don't know, just having puppy experience, I guess. It's like puppies are awesome around people when like people are raising a puppy, if that, makes sense. And
right.
That's like kind of what I feel like is going on with your dog. It's lit though, man. It's so cool. Like, because dogs are like a real long time ass investment, It's not just like oh, we got the pet for like, whatever. It's like, nah, bro, like that's a daily thing, Like the people who like, I don't know, who don't have pets just don't understand.
Right, yeah, like right now, my family, everybody's in South Carolina. It's just me and him, and I'm like, damn, like now I'm like a full-time right now, like I just took him up to go get a bath. He got his nails done and everything, and I'm just like, this is crazy, because I'm like, normally I would do that, bring him back to the house, somebody would be coming home, now I go to the studio. Now I'm just like, I'm with this kid all day, so we'll see how these next 3 days go.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, dude, what do you got coming out next? I mean, what do you kind of have on the radar for people to kind of be looking out for?
Yeah, man, I got some crazy shit I'm working on. Honestly, so the next song that we're coming out, it's not even titled yet, but it's a more upbeat, but it is still melodic in a way, aggressive melodic, if you will. Yeah, I got some of that coming out, some energy music, some summer vibes coming out, and then later on in the year, we gonna start dropping the emotional shit when it gets cold out again. But for right now, we just gonna come with the energy and just brighten things up a little bit, because I think even with this COVID stuff, I still think we gonna pop out this summer. I think it's gonna be a lit summer.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I was talking with doctors yesterday, bro, and like they were saying like they feel like August is gonna be a pretty good point. I mean, people listening, you don't got to hold me accountable for that. I'm not a medical professional. The medical professionals are thinking like when we get to July and August, like we're going to actually be at a spot where it's like, we're in pretty good hands here. I mean, I feel like that's where we are honestly going. I mean, you see like Lyrical's doing their show. Like, is Lala been confirmed yet?
I have not seen anything about Lollapalooza.
I feel like that's the only show though, because like Internet Money just announced a fucking festival today in Florida. There's a ton of people doing shit. Obviously, Rolling Loud and like all the other venues and all the other like shows are running. So it's like, I definitely agree, man. I feel like this summer, like people are just gonna be moving. Like it's not gonna be like last year at all, where like people are inside. You know what I mean? Like, and especially once I saw California's like governor or whatever like say, all right, yeah, you guys can start having concerts in like April. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah. It's like you can bank on us having like a pretty productive summer with like a lot of moving and like impromptu travel. Like I feel like a lot of that, the normalcy of before the pandemic's going to be back in at least certain environments.
Right. I think the fear mongering has slowed down a little bit, because I'm not gonna lie, like I haven't been sick like this whole pandemic. I know maybe 4 people who got it, one including my grandma and like a couple other people. But I think after seeing it like this whole past year and like to this point, I think people are just like, yo, like either I got it already, so I'm not gonna get it again, or I haven't gotten it, so it's like, what am I like living in fear of, So I mean, I'm not a medical professional like you said, so I mean, I'm not gonna tell people how to live their lives, but I think we can't just keep living in fear for forever,
Yeah. I mean, dude, I feel like we're definitely getting to that point though, where we're just almost there. Anyway, though, during like lockdown and shit, did you find like, I guess, any new hobbies or like new talents or whatever? I mean, like, what did the pandemic, I guess, show you, if anything, like about yourself or people around you, etc.?
trying to think of a couple things. Honestly, I started gaming a lot more. I started trading like cryptos and stocks and stuff like right before the pandemic. Like,
you're like active as fuck with it too, bro. I used to this man on Twitter, for those who don't know already, like he be talking about his stocks and his trades like every other day.
Yeah, I need people to know, like, honestly, because I'm one of those people, dude. I didn't come from money, like nobody ever taught me about this shit. I didn't know about any of it. So basically, I'm the type of person, I've seen a couple people get successful from it, and I'm like, okay, so I know this guy, I know his position, and I know that he didn't have a fucking trust fund to just pump into some stocks, so he actually built that up. So I just like got obsessed with it, and I'm just like, yo, this stuff is not that hard when you really think about it. And it's like, I don't know, if you just casually build your portfolio up and treat it like a savings account, just put some money in an account before you even make a trade, and then some shit might happen, buying some cryptos, everything is going to be way bigger than what it is in like 6 months, so I don't know. I just try to educate my supporters, and it's like, I'm one of those people that I just look at myself as a source of information. If people come to me for music or some other shit, or because I'm just being funny on Twitter, and then they come across some valuable information that could change their life, like, that's the whole purpose why I'm doing this shit, so to have that influence, whether it's good or bad, I try to do good with my influence and try to educate people that, hey, you don't have to just read about it and see other people doing it. Like, you can actually do this stuff yourself because I'm doing it, so that's really what it is. I never post like my numbers or anything like that because I'm not trying to like flex or like brag or something like that, because I do take L's too, everybody take L's. So it's like, I tell them that too. I'm like, yo, these are lessons to be learned, and we're learning together, trying to build a community. I think that's really what the main thing is, or my goal is with, sharing that information. Because really, I could just do this shit and make $1 million and never tell anybody and just act like I'm a rich rapper, got rich from music, People do shit like that, but I'm super transparent with it.
Bro, I listen, I don't trade or anything. I want to get into it. Like you said, I've never had anyone like really show me, or like I've just never also taken the time and like myself. But I do obviously see it on Twitter, like just the community around stocks and shit that I feel like always was probably there, but like recently, especially with the pandemic, bro, I mean, it was just like so popular. It's almost mainstream like pop culture now, and like,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
it really is, man. It's a beautiful thing to see, bro, because think about like when we were like in high school or whatever, somebody talks about trading stocks and this, that. You think of a rich older person. You don't think of like people our age. You don't think of, regular Joe Schmo in a Walmart. Like, everybody's doing it now, and I don't know. I think it's important that everybody does do it, because that way these super rich people, people always say eat the rich and complain about rich people doing this and doing that. It's like, you can play the same game as them now. You don't need to have $1 million to start trading stocks. You don't need to do this. And I think that accessibility, now that it's all on phone apps, makes every little kid or every young adult want to do this shit now. And it's beautiful to see now, because now we can exchange this information, we can get stuff trending, we can make numbers go up, and that's the name of the game.
Have you made like you got any wild like networking stories, or like just stories in general from like the trading and stuff?
There is one guy I follow on Twitter. His name is Sam, and honestly, the guy, he is a little older. He's like 50, 40 something. I don't know. Older guy from Texas, and like this dude, he'll post his opinions on stuff. He's really confident in his opinion. Like, he doesn't give a fuck what you think about it. And it's kind of like me, but like a finance version of me. His is funny, but yeah, he gets on there, he talks his shit, and then people get on there and they challenge him. They're like, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about this. And then the next day he'll go and he'll quote their tweets and stuff like that, and he'll be like, look at this, I made $90,000 on this trade, $60,000, $70,000. Like, he's going stupid crazy. And he has like chat rooms and stuff you can get in. There's Discords that I'm in for cryptos with like a bunch of 18-year-olds that are making fucking $10,000 every 2 weeks and doing crazy shit. And I actually, there's a crazy story. One of my fans, he was a fan, he's from Texas, Max Reyes. We've always been tuned in. He found me in like 2016 on SoundCloud, and like we connected off that. And I've always stayed cool with him, sharing little stories, talking to him, checking in on him, making sure he's straight. And then one day he's like, I see you posting about this and that. I'm in a Discord. Come join the Discord, man. We going crazy. And I hopped in there, and I'm like, all right, open-minded, like what's going on. And I look, it's a bunch of college-age kids. They're like, yeah, look at this trade, $200 to $18,000, $100 turned into $8,000, and it's like, yo, this shit's crazy. Like, and it's all trading cryptos that are not like super public yet. It's like they like 0.00009 cents for one coin type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing, and that's really what I've been on recently because, you know, think about it, if something costs, you know, 1/1,000,000th of a penny, and you spend $50 on it, you have like 1,000,000 pennies, or 1,000,000 coins, and then if that shit goes up to a penny or $1 or something like that, you're gonna be rich forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's really wild, bro. It really is. Well, all right, bro. I don't think I got too much left for you. Do you got anything else you really want to say to the fans here?
Shit, I would say go stream middle of the night on all platforms. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Ronnie Rage, at Ronnie X Rage on everything. Yeah, just tune in, man, because I'm about to start going crazy this summer. As soon as I start dropping again, it's gonna be Ronnie's season. So yeah, I mean that's basically it. Come tune in.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's not cap, man. Ronnie, I appreciate you joining the Culture Capture Spotlight podcast for an episode, man. It was a real treat to have you on. Like, we'll definitely have to connect again and do another one, like, and update this. You know what I mean? You have to be one of the outstanding guests or outlasting guests.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. You know, I'm riding with y'all forever, man. Whatever you need, just let me know, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Honestly.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you guys for listening. This was the Culture Capture Spotlight podcast. Tune in next week for a new episode. Until then, thank you.